You should have started there.
I've started just now. So I missed kicking the dribbling dog out.
What she does. She's a prime A grade Labrador, full of sad eyes, paws, and, as you know, dribbling.
Yep, it's what they do.
They do so well. Sorry, what were we talking about? Yes, numbers.
Yes, 25,000 streams and downloads on Spotify, and I think just Spotify. I think
It's got to be just if that was.
I don't think that's all platforms. It definitely doesn't include YouTube, which is then. Oh, I might be able to give you some YouTube stats.
Well,
Let's
do
have a
that.
look.
How many thousand times have you streamed then, Tom? Have you got a program just running in the background?
That's what I've just bought the computer for. Just bring to get those numbers up.
Oh
Beautiful.
dear. YouTube will tell me if it wants to load, but it's not really wanting to load. So at some point during the podcast, I'll just pause everything and just say how many YouTube watches on the podcast we've had.
Is that in total or just in February?
What, 25,000? That's over the last. That's over the last nearly 2 years.
Crummies. We've been doing this for 2 years, have we?
Will it be 2 years in
May?
Yeah.
Oh well, come down to Arvox and Dragons for the 2-year birthday.
Let's see. I'm on the right.
Maybe we should. Maybe actually,
now.
You mentioned that. Sort of the notes in chat about having like a special 2-year or 100th episode anniversary. Maybe we should do it from A&D with a live audience in black tie.
We could want to take questions.
Yeah,
maybe. On YouTube, we've got total plays are 11,073.
So we've got more of an audio listening audience than a visual listening audience.
Yeah, but I guess we're on like
which is understandable looking at our faces as well.
Yeah, I was just about to say it makes sense, really.
With this moustache, what do you mean?
These are radio faces. Like that.
Yeah.
Wow, 36K.
Well, should we get started then?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Play the intro before I die.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to New Dice Please, the bite-sized Blood Bowl podcast, brought to you by the people at Blood Bowl Live. My name is Chris. Joining me, as always, is Mr. Scott Bryant. Scott, what is your favourite shape of glass?
Good evening, Chris. My favourite shape of glass. I like a solid, just like a whiskey tumbler. That's my sort of
just
favourite
like a plain tumbler, heavy based round tumbler.
If it's a lead crystal, fine. It doesn't have to be the cut glass cliched version as well, but just a nice, heavy, solid tumbler that feels good in the hand as well. But then again, I do like a nice brandy glass where it just cups your hand. Right there.
Good choice. Good choice. Joining us also Mr. Tom Hovell. Tom, favourite shape of glass?
I quite like an egg timer. Sort of thing where with the sand that goes through.
Oh, see, you've gone for shaped glass brackets general as opposed to drinking receptacle.
Yeah. Well, you didn't mention you had to hold.
I didn't. To be fair, I didn't. To be fair, because I was thinking exactly the same as Scott. I was thinking just like a nice heavy base, like whiskey tumbler type thing. I was thinking that, but credit where it's due. I can't fault you.
Alcoholics, the pair.
It's a bit disappointing, though, isn't it?
as he's got his glass.
Sipping on lemonade, yeah.
Hard lemonade. We're not here to talk about glasses.
No, your glass, Chris. Or are you sticking with the whiskey?
I'm going for the whiskey tumbler.
Okay.
Yeah. Although I'll put rum in mine rather than whiskey, if it's okay with you. No, we're not here to talk about glasses. That's an open Scott. We're here instead. We are well, at point this goes out just a couple of days. We're just 4 or 5 days away at time of recording of the Kent Team Championships that the three of us plus Mr. Tom Feeks will be going to this weekend. We've had a little look after they were released at the field, look at some of the other coaches that are there, some of the other rosters. Safe to say we are managing our expectations based on the field in front of us and some of the very, very good teams that look like they are turning up, which got us thinking about what do you do when all is lost in a game of Blood Bowl? What wild tactics would you implement, or generally, what wild tactics do you have that you might implement in a game of Blood Bowl, and when would you use them? When's the right time to put that wild tactic in place? Is it something that you would do straight away? Is it something that you're going to be 2 or 3 down and there is literally nothing to lose, so you're going to give it a try? So we're going to pitch some tactics here, and we're going to see what each other thinks. And if you don't mind, gentlemen, would you mind if I go first?
Be our guest.
So the tactic that I want to pitch is I wanted some inspiration for tactics, and this is one that I got inspiration from online, which was referred to as the pinball wizard. And you basically have an opposition player somewhere on the field. You put the ball carrier touchdown side of that player, and then you create with all of your other players 2 columns either side of them, forcing a single route with regards to any pushes that might happen. At which point you frenzy a player into the opposition's player, and then they have to chain push your ball carrier down the channel further to the end zone, while being protected by the two sides of the pinball machine. This tactic referred to as the pinball wizard.
So harder than just scoring a general touchdown, then.
Well,
to set that up.
Yes, very difficult to set up, possibly unnecessary to set up, and I guess just gets your ball carrier 2 spaces nearer to the end zone.
And is this just for the pure memery, Chris, rather than any tactical or any reason?
I think I'm now going to try and spin some tactics on this, even though there possibly aren't any. So let's say, first
let's just agree there aren't any.
No. Hang on, let me give this a try. So your ball carrier is protected because it's in the 2 channels of the other players. So it's kind of like a mega cage. It pushes your ball carrier closer to the end zone for their next turn, so they could then score. That's probably it. Yeah, that's probably it. There's probably not much more tactical advantage than that.
And is this something you would envisage deploying early in one of your games, or given the number of players you've got to have to form said pinball?
Yes, based on the fact that the majority of my pinball channel would be made up of skinks. I think I'm probably deploying this quite late in the game due to the risk of skinks being your defensive piece against the ball carrier.
Okay. My initial reaction is, aesthetically, I think it's a thing of beauty.
I think it would look good, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think aesthetically, I can't see why anybody would have anything negative to say at all about said pinball. However, obviously, we are like the BBC, the voice of impartiality. We've got to give and take. No, honestly, Chris, I can't see any reason why you wouldn't do this in the middle of a game. Absolutely no reason. Just go for it. I think you should get rid of all other tactics and just set this up purely for the meme and purely for having that you would be the first in a game of Blood Bowl to set this up in a competitive tournament environment. No one could take that from you. Tom's looking aghast, but yeah.
I'm trying to visualize the setup.
Yeah.
Are we talking like a cage? So you've got the ball handler in the middle,
Yeah.
and then you've got a cage, but it's like instead of 4, you've got 6. So 2 rows of 3 plus
No.
more.
2 rows of 5, Tom. You've got 11 players on the pitch.
2 rows of
2
5.
rows of 5.
Come
And
on,
if
Tom,
I
we
could
can-
add a
Oh right,
high
I
risk.
thought you meant just like a one really long column going up the middle of the pitch.
Yeah, two. So, and here's my cherry on top of this wonderful pinball cake. If you do it with goblins or with a team that can take fungus, then you don't need the opposition player to be able to do this. You can just ball and chain in a straight line. Use up your rerolls if you need to, and then you could push it with every hit. You could get a 3 dice push with every hit against that player, and just move that. You could move one of your own players 4, 5 if you want to rush, places up the field.
Again, while Tom obviously mulls that
Right,
over. You might want to run that through the new little laptop or little computer you bought there.
Yeah, run
see
that
what
through the Minimax. See what it thinks.
See what
again,
it says.
aesthetically, Chris, a thing of beauty. Yeah, and to pull it off would be a wondrous thing, just for the reputation that it would bestow upon you. You would be that guy, the pinball guy.
I would be the pinball wizard.
You would be the pinball wizard guy of Blood Bowl. No one could take, and the first in a competitive tournament.
Uh-huh.
Why else do we play this game?
Well, exactly.
If it's not, is to lay down markers like that.
We're here to set the standard. I think that's what we need to establish.
Chris, how's the prescription coming along? Did you pick it up for this week?
Yeah, great.
Yeah,
Great. I had double today. I feel fresh.
Minty. That's what we like. Okay, Tom.
So who's next? Tom?
What's your thoughts first of all on the pinball? Apart from a thing of beauty, let's move on quickly.
yeah, interesting. Yeah, like you say, is this when all hope is lost? Is this is that what we're talking about here?
Well, I think this particular tactic you could probably deploy if you're a goblin coach for the lols. So I think you could probably just do this for the sake of it for a good time. You do need to be in possession of the ball, and if you're not in possession of the ball and you're setting this up, you are pretty much guaranteeing your opponent a relatively easy touchdown. So I think it is all hope is lost or goblin shenanigan.
Has Scott Norman been giving you those special green gummy bears again?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it could be snotling shenanigan, because you could swarm and then you could have 2 columns of 6 instead.
That's special. Yeah, that's definitely.
Okay.
Yeah. Come on, Tom, have you got a tactic for us?
So my tactic is probably one that everyone goes, yes, we know that, but it's the long fade. So basically where you switch sides. It's really only one of those kind of ones which Necromantic are really good for, but also it's one that you'd probably deploy when you're playing against a slower team, ones with not a lot of movement. So where you set up, looks like it's not all central in the on the pitch. You're off to one side. You look like you're going to force them that way. So your opposition pushes all their team one side, and then you backtrack and do a quick handoff on a pass, and you're off on the other side. I've used it ironically kind of a couple of times. It's worked. Sometimes it goes horribly wrong because obviously you've got the luck of the dice with you on that side of things. I think elves would probably be very good at this, but you get a bit more security when you have it with necromantic, because obviously you've got things like your wraiths and your flesh golems with a little bit more stability on that.
I'm sorry, Tom. I am getting an email from the members of my ethics committee team saying that this feels like a far too legitimate tactic. This feels far too sensible. Scott, you've got your hand up.
Thanks. Yeah, when we discussed the topic for today, we were talking about wild tactics. I thought
it was even you who suggested wild tactics as well. You brought the most legitimate tactic to the table.
I thought I'd start off nice and easy.
Now,
give the viewers some hope.
I've come here with a goddamn pinball wizard, Tom.
So yeah, I had the idea. Again, it could be due to interpretation, and the glass scenario has just described and highlighted that beautifully. I went with wild, as in unhinged, as in, are you talking about petulance, or just clinging to the edges of some sort of moral dignity when you go for an attempted action that is
Oh,
beyond
okay.
the
Well,
statistics? What Tom, bless him, has described for most people is just standard edge play, side to side, move the opposition
A
around,
very solid tactical move.
which
I've
obviously for
never
Tom,
played Edge.
for
Look,
Tom
it's my
must.
first foray into Edge. I'm like, oh, you could
So
do this.
you've played Skaven, you've played
Badly.
you've played Necro, you've played Vampires, so
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, I'll
And-
repack that and just go to my standard. Just
No.
lock the ball.
We're going
No,
to cover
no.
this tactic now in great detail, and we're going to talk about how ridiculous a tactic this is. Why would you ever consider luring your opponents to one side of the field? It leaves a channel open for your opponents to attack you in. Yes, you could use that opponent for your advantage, but to me, that feels like cheating.
Okay. Okay.
I think to support Tom on this, though, Chris, because we are a team. At
He
certain
is our
times of the
captain.
day. He is our captain. All hail. You have paid, as a Blood Bowl player, you have paid for that board, whether it's your own board or whether you've rented that board or you're on a pay. So there has been an emotional and sometimes a monetary fee associated with that pitch. You need to use that pitch. If you've paid for all those squares, you need to make the most out of every single goddamn last square. So I can fully appreciate what Tom is saying. From an accountancy perspective, you want to maximize the return on your investment and get as many squares covered during the course of a match. So from that perspective, I think that's a wonderful idea. I can't really sound more magnanimously sarcastic if I tried, but I'm sure I could.
And Tom, is this a tactic for all times in the game?
Possibly. Yeah. Possibly. I've got more, which are a bit more ludicrous, but I thought I'd start off a little bit more sensible,
Okay.
just to keep people kind of listening.
I went the other way,
Oh, cool.
which is fine. Well, okay, we'll come back to one of your more wild tactics. But Scott, have you got a wild tactic for us?
Well, compared to that, no. But what I have for a tactic is I think for me it would depend as well whether you're in a league or a tournament environment as well. I think there are other things we can talk about. Just walking into a cage with whatever model is nearest to that particular cage. But for me, I'm going to start by the kill, kill, kill tactic. So if you're down, it looks as if you are going to, um, you know, you're not going to win the game. It might be slipping beyond you for whatever reason, whether it's the opposition coach is just better, whether you've better made some bad decisions, whether the dice have gone against you as well. But I think there's nothing like a good gang foul. And I think, though, you need to take that gang foul up a notch as well. So I think gang foul stage one would be surrounding a player. And the player I would try and surround is the one who has the most emotional resonance for your opposition coach, whether it be a gutter runner, a war dancer, or someone in a league who has a narrative. Maybe they've had a lot of games of investment and they've been skilled up considerably. So if you can, that would be my first. And I don't mean just a 2 or 3 assists in terms of the foul. I mean a fully surrounded gang foul. So that would be my first recommendation for those tactics. Just go at it, and even if that means kill, kill, kill from first game one. So if you play something like Underworld or Snotlings, just pick a player, surround them completely, and just keep fouling them until they've gone. And
Now,
even if you get sent off, it doesn't matter.
What I enjoy about this particular tactic is that you didn't say go for the ball carrier. You said go for the player with the most emotional link to the opposition coach.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you're going for long-term pain rather than short-term on the pitch. You want the coach to really feel that particular incident.
It's hurting for me. We are a sharing community, so why not share the negatives and the positives? And I think that would be my recommendation for turn one. Yeah, having had it done to myself on several occasions, I can wholeheartedly recommend it.
And you would say turn one for this tactic.
Start on turn one, and then by the time you get to turn 8, see how you go, and then guess what? Such is the wonder of Blood Bowl, you get to do it all again the next half.
Okay. I like Tom. Do you like this one?
I quite like this one. Yeah, it's not bad. It's a very good one. I'm writing that one down for this weekend.
So, which player, Tom, out of your necromantic horror side, would you start this fouling with first? Because obviously your zombies are maybe the most disposable, but are quite slow. Would you just start fouling turn one with a werewolf?
Yeah, why not? Yeah, let's just go for the werewolf or the ghoul. Yeah, just
I think
have a fouling ghoul.
I think it really messes with the opposition's mindset, Chris, as well, because they think surely what sort of a fool of a Blood Bowl coach would foul with their star player, the one who can win
That's
them
good.
the game.
That's good actually, because it's like, why would you foul with the Croxagore? Like they're so important to the team, and then turn one foul with the Croxagore, your opponent's immediately going, this guy could do anything.
Yeah.
It's like and this is where it came from, wasn't it? It was like, how can we psychologically break our opponent?
We can't beat them on the field, but we can break their brains.
Yeah,
And that's the key.
So that's my first one. Just as a caveat, I won't be talking about any physical, sort of tactics in terms of, intimidation, bribery, the usual sort of things that Nuffle encourages, but only on the tabletop.
I will bring you my second tactic then. We all know how important in Blood Bowl caging up is. We know that caging is very important. It can keep that ball nice and safe, and it can kind of keep you in possession of the ball longer. And sometimes you play coaches who don't cage for one reason or another. There's other kind of alternatives to it. I think that all coaches should at some point experience the pleasantries of a cage. So my suggestion is that you cage their players. So particularly with skinks, I think this is quite good. You can start with your skinks quite close to the front line. A blitz or a charge is ideal for this. You have ideally a player with kick. You get a nice long kick into the backfield. And then most coaches will have a player positioned to be their ball carrier. Go and cage that player with your players so that player is already protected. Immediately, we're sharing responsibility here. You're making sure that player feels nice and secure and nice and well protected. By putting your players around it as a cage. Now, you could just do 4. I would recommend 8 if you can get all 8 players around one of their players. And I think I'd take some inspiration from Scott. If you can't pick the ball carrier, pick an emotionally important player to surround with your players, and just keep that player held in a cage for as long as you can.
Fine speech. I've actually got Cage the Cage on my note as a possibility as well. But the one thing I think, for a little bit of extra spice, if you can afford it, and if you do have it as an inducement, is don't forget the fireball if you've caged the cage.
Oh, yeah.
And don't forget, obviously, the one that brings only for 80k, and I haven't checked, and I'm assuming he's still in the book, is Horatio Schottenheim in terms of the random fireball as well.
Question for you: if your player had the ball and your opposition put 8 players around your player and you had a fireball, would you fireball your own ball carrier in order to get a chance to hit those 8 all in one go? I think I would.
Oh, if it was just one person and someone had deployed the single player encirclement tactic, absolutely, and it had a spare fireball, drop it all on them all.
I think so. What do you think,
I think
Tom?
it'd be rude not to, Tom.
Yeah, I absolutely 100% agree. Yeah.
Perfect. Who wants their next tactic then? Tom, do you want to go next?
Yeah. Okay.
I think Tom's next tactic is going to be, probably, avoiding handing off.
No. This. I call this one the Godfather hit. Okay. So what you do is you squared up against your opponent. You think, I've got no chance on this. So what you do is you roll your d16, and the number that comes up, if it obviously up to 11, if it goes over, whatever, is the player that is guaranteed to be hit. So for the entire game, you've got to kill that player on that opposition's team.
So he's your target,
regardless of what's happening on the pitch.
Yeah.
That's the one that's got to go.
So okay, so you square up with your opponent. You know it's a lost cause.
Yeah.
Immediately.
Yeah.
So you will immediately roll the d16, pick one of their players.
Correct.
And then you would just try and target that player.
Correct.
Okay. What if they didn't put that player on the pitch? Or would you do it at kickoff?
Oh no, it'd be at kickoff. Yeah.
At kickoff.
At
Okay.
kickoff.
Understood.
So yeah. So obviously, if it goes over 11 players, just keep rolling secretly, and then that's your hit. That's the person that's got to go down. Yeah. And it's got to be if they're KO'd and they come back, you've got to keep going for them. Yeah. But you don't tell your opponent. So you're just playing your own game with yourself.
So you turn up, you turn up, you're like, oh, hi, my name's Chris. Is it Tom? Tom, hi, Tom, nice to meet you. Cool. And then you sit down and then you just get your D16 out, roll it in front of them.
Yep.
And go, okay. And then just play.
Yeah.
Scott, what do you think?
I think that should be introduced as a gimme to all games. I think there should be, bonus SPP on tour play even. So as soon as you start and as soon as you roll for fans, then you get a little pop-up to say that's the player you're targeting.
Yeah.
You get extra, you get 4 SP if you take that guy out. That's what I think tour play needs to introduce for all admins everywhere. I think that'd be a fantastic thing. And I think it needs to be the manner of death needs to obviously contain its own reward. So if you just like kill, you put a cage round and gang foul someone, yeah, okay, that's a relatively easier one. What if you had a tree and let's say a spare gnome or a goblin or an ogre or a snotling or anything with throw teammate? If you can take out the opposition player or any opposition player you want, I think that's something you need to think about doing as well.
You have given me an idea for a new game variation of Blood Bowl, where like
darts, but for Blood Bowl. Yeah.
Well, in Quidditch, where if you catch the golden snitch, you seemingly get an unending amount of points. That means
you just won the game's over.
The game's just over and you win. What if each player started with basically a beer ball? We'll spray him gold and stick some wooden wings on his back. And killing the beer ball of your opponent is killing the beer ball of your opponent is worth 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
So you could just send all 11 players after that beer ball. Just let your opponent run it in. And then go for the punch instead, or you could try and do both. But
equally, if you just without the beer ball one, if they start to realise, and again, it's all random. So if it's actually a very good player, so like a blitzer or a catcher or a big guy, and they suddenly realise that that's what you're focusing your attention on, with kind of Scott's kind of rules on that side of things, would they tactically take them off and keep them off? So that gives you an advantage, won't it? Because they'll be like, especially in league, you're like, oh, he's targeting one of my best players. I don't really want him.
See, this episode was supposed to be stupid, but I'm now thinking it's now making me think of a variety of other things.
Yeah.
Do you think you could run a league successfully?
No,
where
the league successfully.
I don't know, because if you think about it, if you split your team and if you positioned, several players around your golden ball, and then the rest of the team can go and get the ball and score, and then it starts again, doesn't it? and the ball goes
but
to
then,
the
but
other
then
side.
you've effectively got two balls on the or two
Well, no, you've got
targets
your
on the
golden
pitch,
ball.
haven't you? And
I
and
got
you've
my
only got
golden
11
ball.
players.
But what it means is you have your golden ball, I have my golden ball, and when it's my drive, when I have possession, then my golden ball is on the pitch. Yours isn't until you receive the ball and you start the drive, and then your golden ball is on the pitch.
Oh,
I don't know.
so
Without wanting to go down this route in terms of
setting
a
up a
very
new
dark,
game.
insane rabbit hole, I don't know. Possibly, I like the idea as well of we talked about it before. We talked about things like, yes, walk into a cage with any player because obviously on a 6-up it's going to work anyway, and 15% of the time, all the time, it's going to work. I think that's a lovely one. I also, I think the patented Tom Hovell throw and hope, just hoof it down at the old Hail Mary special. I think that's an absolute given.
Yeah.
I think
I
that's a
think
lovely one as well.
I think lizards have become the perfect Tom Hovell Hail Mary Hope team
Yeah.
because now you can give the chameleon passing skills. You can give them as a primary. You can give them Hail Mary or whatever you want. So now you can accurately, and skill ups are so much easier in this edition. So I think with the speed of skinks, lizards are now the perfect because you could do it with gutter runners, but you've only got 2 of them. Whereas skinks you can have 16. So you can send a swarm after wherever you've thrown that ball to that is going to absolutely swamp your opponent, and then they can dodge out of that any tackle zones on 3-up. Tom, they may be perfect for you.
I think this is encouraging. Yeah, I think why as well have for the typical build on a lizard team, Chris. What to start with? It's going to be the 6 sauruses, 3 skinks and a chameleon, 4 skinks and a chameleon,
4
however many.
skinks.
Yeah,
That's what I would go for.
and
Yeah.
bird. Yeah, get rid of the sauruses. Who needs them? Just
Yeah.
go all skinks with Maeve as the crocs.
Do stunty rules, yeah. Go croc score all skinks 2 chameleons because then you've got more. You cover the whole backfield with on the ball, and then literally 2 chameleons back, croc score on the line to take hits, 2 skinks on the line, the rest of the skinks in a big long line just back. Get that ball, lob it, just.
How much is a skink, Chris?
60k.
60k.
Chameleon 70.
So chameleon 70. So you take your 2 chameleons, that's 140k. If you take, so that's 2. Maeve is, what's Maeve? 120. So Maeve, for those who don't know, that is Chris's Croxagore. So Maeve is
either
140
or 150. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Okay, so that's 390. That gives you 3 players, and then if you take 8,
140.
If you take 8 at 60, okay, so 140. That's 280 if my maths is correct. Plus, so that's 280. Plus, then you want what? 8, 9, 10, 11. Just go 8 times 60. 6, 8 to 48. So that's 60. 720k for your 11 players. So that's going to give you 280k off the bat. Chuck a couple of bribes in there automatically. Still got 180.
760. If you got two chameleons and 1 crocs to go on the rest of the linemen up to 11 players.
Okay,
so that's 760. So then you could fit in there 3 rerolls.
Yeah.
Or you fit 1 reroll and then 1 bribe, and then maybe a sub.
So you get 3 rerolls is 970.
Nice. Why not? Live the dream.
So go 2 rerolls. Know you've got the money in your back pocket for a mascot, possibly against 1 million teams, and then spend the other reroll money on a sub. So you've got 12 players because you're gonna lose some of those skinks.
Or if you're playing a league game, that's set up and just 3 dedicated fans. And just keep going.
I think you've got to, Chris. I think you've got to now. I think we've now, as part of this, come up with next season's mighty, by the Ducks. I think this is the Ducks for you. I think it has to be. I think it's fantastic. I'd be tempted to do that with them myself.
Very good.
Okay.
What's your next one? Go on,
Scott. What's your last tactic for us?
We've talked about the throw teammate as a target. We've talked about kill in terms of that. I just like the idea of just sending anyone, particularly the biggest guy that you've got, just walk him into. Oh, sorry, it's going to realistically be the nearest person, just whoever that nearest person is, just send them into the cage. Just go straight, head down, and just go in a straight line, irrespective of dodges. And it's going to fail, but fail on your terms, fail in style.
The time it
Because the
doesn't
time it,
fail.
and that's the thing. The one time it does work, statistically, it's going to be very rare. But the one time it does work, or even the one time you get into the cage and just before you roll, whether it's 2 dice uphill or which it realistically is going to be, because why even bother with putting assists in place? Don't bother.
I think this one works really well with stunty teams because they can get into that cage, but it's going to be a 2 die or 3 die uphill. And it just makes it even more painful when they get like 3 pals or 2 pals and are both down or something like that.
You love the uphill though.
Yeah.
Like I will do, anyone who plays me at the weekend, if I need to, I will do a 3 dice uphill with a skink against a ball carrier. Because why not? Absolutely, why not?
And I want you to shout prison rules because you're going into that field, taking out the biggest guy.
I think it is a very. It might sound a bit crazy, but you think statistically, it's a very solid tactic. If you put one skink outside the cage for whichever way you're going in, it's a 3-up dodge, and then most of the carriers that the opposition is going to use the ball. If it's an elf, if it's a skaven or like a thrower or catch or human, it's going to be 2 strength 2, so it'll be 1 dice, and even 2 dice uphill is a very realistic thing.
Do you know what? Now I'm thinking for like particularly for tournaments, and I'm wondering whether to kind of, probably a bit late to do this for the Ipswich Classic. I think teams should gain hatred throughout tournaments. It's very unlikely it's actually going to come into play because the chances of over a 6-day maybe different, over a 6-game differently, over a 3-game, it's unlikely to actually happen. But if you play a human team and they like kill a load of your players, and then you gain animosity towards humans, and then you gain hatred to humans, so you can then in those last stages of the tournament throw those 2 dice uphill and be like, screw it, I'll just re-roll a skull if I get it. Like, I quite like that. Like, it's tricky because it's very you could, if you, let's say you played lizards, then you played humans, and then you played goblins, your hatred is never going to come into play. But if you played nobility, then Bretonians, and then Tomb Kings, because the skeletons I think have the human trait to them, as well as skeleton. So and
of course, a lot of what we've talked about are assuming vanilla skills. They're not assuming, what could you create in terms of, you can create, as I have done in the league, in the Ibble, if you've got a roger with break tackle, with juggernaut, and then you can give them 2 heads, and then you can give them dodge as well if you save her for the secondary. You've got something dodging into a cage on a 3-up with a reroll. How beautiful is that? And that is a feasible thing. So these are another things you could think about in terms of wild and crazy tactics. But I think this is more about what level, and it is a very fine line, as we said, between petulance and your moral dignity in terms of, you've got nothing to lose or go for it YOLO. But I think there are special things you can do within there to make things a bit spicy and interesting for people.
Yeah. I think if you are drawn to play Team New Dice Please this weekend, then I guess like we are, we're going to turn up, I think, this weekend, and we're going to give it a really good go. We're going to really give it a try. It's our first team tournament. We're really excited to just the 4 of us be all sat together playing and having a laugh for 2 days. It's going to be so much fun. we are, and we're going to have a great time. And win or lose, we're going to have some good fun. Know that if you're beating us by enough, who knows, you may see one of these weird tactics come out into play, but we will see how we get on.
I'm not afraid, just to put it out there. I'm not afraid to foul with a war dancer if I need to.
My
Foul
team means nothing to me. Everyone's disposable.
Turn 16, Croxagore foul in every game.
Oh,
Just why
at least
not?
turn 2.
This is from the man who's running Necro with sprint on a wolf.
Yeah.
He don't care.
Which I will sprint across and foul someone with.
A movement 11 fouling werewolf.
Just when you thought it was safe.
Well, if you're scared of movement 11 fouling werewolves, if you've got a nuts tactic that you have deployed at some point in your game, if you've got a legitimate tactic that you think we should try this weekend, or anything else that you want to contact us about, Mr. Scott Bryant, how can people get in touch?
Mr. Chris Coe, for all feedback, for every email, and we get some wonderful correspondence. So please keep them coming, and we will shout out on our next mailbox episode as well. If you want to explain to Tom Hovell why moving side to side and maximizing pitch coverage is the best thing, drop us a note, newdiceplease@gmail.com. As usual, newdiceplease@gmail.com. And Mr. Tom Hovell, if people want to see ample pitch coverage, if they want to see side to side, back and forth throwing tactics, how can they hear more, listen more, see more Blood Bowl action?
Absolutely. So you can see us on Blood Bowl Live, and I believe we are streaming a number of matches over the Kent 2-day tournament this weekend. So look out for that. That's on YouTube, Blood Bowl Live on YouTube. We're also on the socials on Instagram and Blue Sky under New Dice Please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bryant. Thank you, Mr. Hovell. Thank you, everybody, for listening. We've been New Dice Please, and we will see you next time.